I'm live. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Coach Nyla. I'm trying to make sure everything is live right now. Okay, that finally popped up. Ba, ba, ba. All right, T. All right. Here we go. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's your coach, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Welcome to our Poly Tea and Chat. Alhamdulillah, I'm going to give you guys some time to get your tea. I'm going to show you guys my new mug. Anyway, it was an impulse buy, and I like it, and I'm going to use it for the Poly Tea and Chat. So yes, it's perfect for it, right? So make sure you guys, while we are getting everything situated and straight on this end, make sure you are letting me know where you are watching from. How has your week been so far? I mean, I guess it is the weekend now, but how your week been? And okay, I'm just making sure everything is all good. And I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. We'll get started in about 30, 60 seconds or so for the most part. Just give people some time to chime in. Like I stated before, let me know where you are watching from. How's your week been? All that other good stuff. And this is going to be a great tea and chat. I don't think we haven't had one that wasn't great. We're not going to have one that's not great, inshallah, God willing. And but in this one, we are going to discuss and chat about your vision. What is our vision in polygyny? Our marriage vision in polygyny. I know, right? Our marriage vision in polygyny, especially as wives or queens and women. That's an interesting topic to talk about, right? But it's important. And then I have some amazing news in a second to share with you guys, which is why the topic of this tea and chat is about our marriage vision. So I kind of wanted to tie that in to the great news that I have. So make sure you guys get your tea. I'm going to give you a minute because I'm going to get this intro together. Make sure you get your tea, get something to write with, write on, have your questions ready because we are going to chat. And mind you, too, this is a call-in session or a chat. So if you guys want to go chat on stage or whatever the case and be added, I will have a link in there later on so you guys can chat live. Okay. Hey, Assalamu alaikum, Chicago. Stressful work week. All right. Hey, I understand that. Give me a second. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace back. It's Coach Nyla, of course, again, with your Poly Tea and Chat, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Let's know where you are chiming in from, where you're watching from, how your week was, and all that other good stuff. This is a chat. So the topic for this week or this session or this tea and chat is about marriage mission. What is your marriage mission in polygyny? What does that look like? Has it changed? If you were in monogamy or you were thinking about monogamy or whatever the case may be, and now you're in polygyny, does it change? And those different things. When you have your individual mission, your individual identity, how does that coincide with your shared identity and your shared marriage mission and all that other good stuff? That's what we are going to be discussing here this evening, or for me this evening. I guess it could be in the morning for those, especially those in like Chicago. So where are we at? Um, I'm going through the chat right now. I want to see where you guys are. UK all the way. So Lake Loretta, North Carolina. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I said I got some amazing news. So I'm excited. We're going to be not even just creating, we are going to be conducting a polygyny boot camp. Yes, this upcoming or next week, I guess you want to say, we are going to be conducting a polygamy boot camp, and I'm super excited about it. Those who have not received or have gotten your polygamy roadmap ebook, definitely do so at polygamy roadmap, polygamyroadmap.com, not ebook.com, polygamyroadmap.com. I'm going to put the link on the bottom of the screen for those who can see it. You'll see that, because that boot camp is going to consist of trainings in depth about what we discussed and what we taught about in the roadmap ebook. So super excited about it. And it's coming up. If you guys want to, make sure you register at, what did I say? Guys, I totally forgot. I totally got a brain fart. You want to make sure that you register at polygamybootcamp.com. And I'll have that stuff on the screen in a second. So while I'm doing that, let's chat about it. When it comes down to our marriage mission statement, I talked about and I trained on marriage mission statement like a number of times. And I also have a prompt, and I will be training on that and talking about that a little bit more in the polygamy boot camp. But it's very important to have this marriage mission statement. But the interesting thing about having this marriage mission statement, that it's not just about your shared marital identity. It's not just about this shared marital mission statement. Would you agree with me that when we tend to get ourselves caught up in the, I heard something earlier about the better half type thing, or finding someone who completes us and all those different things like that, that we tend to lose our identity. So when we tend to lose our identity, or our personal or our individual identity, it gets so caught up into our marital identity that when something happens that's outside of our control, sometimes it happens to be polygyny because our husband decided to marry again. And then we kind of come off kilter. Like it feels like our world has shifted. It's these different things that happen because we forgot or didn't create our own personal mission statement and spoke with our husbands about what that looked like and combined them together to create a joint marriage mission statement. But a lot of times we forget about what our own individual, or we either forget or we never created it in the first place. And we kind of pretty much move or go with the flow, or we have these unwritten or unspoken rules about what it will look like. So yeah, give me a second, because I swear to goodness, I wanted to put these things on the screen, and I'm so used to wanting to talk to you guys about and chat about these different things. But let me know as I'm looking for, as I put these things on the screen, let me know what you think about that. Have you created your own marriage mission statement, your personal one, as well as being able to speak to your husband about what that looked like and created one that you had together? Have you, excuse me, have you heard of a marriage mission statement? I know a number of people stated that I had never heard of a marriage mission statement. I never thought to create a marriage mission statement. But we do here in businesses have a mission statement. And I do believe, I believe that when it comes to businesses, people are very, very serious about their business, very serious about their business. And they're so serious about their business, they want things to run smoothly because that investment is important. They want that investment to give them a return. Why do we not look at our marriages as important as a business that we will run, or as important as a job that we want to make sure that we get a consistent paycheck on? These are things that we find important, but one of the most important things of building your legacy, building our families, these type of things like that, we have not sat, a lot of us have not sat down and said, this is what I want it to look like. These are the goals that I want to have, or the outcome that I want to have. Let me discuss it with my husband, a person who's supposed to be the leader. Am I vetting, a winning person, or the a proper leader for my winning team? Because this is actually what I saw a marriage would look like. I saw that we were going to improve and we were going to grow and things are going to be, an upward motion. Of course, going in an upward motion, sometimes there's some ebbs and flows and there's some rocky roads ahead and things like that. But knowing that you're on this road together and you're going on the same journey is important. But do we tend to look at that at the beginning? And even if we haven't set out this mission statement, and because we didn't know, no one taught us, or we didn't hear about it until recently or till now, that's okay. Because you still can look and you still can say, okay, maybe I need to course correct. Let me get it together so I can move forward, or so we can move forward. It's okay to do that. Life gives us change. All through life, things are going to change. We may have to adjust. We may have to course correct, as I stated, which is another word for adjust, of course. And sometimes it may be, this is not the way. So this is not what I want. This is not the way. This is not going to bring me to the final goal or the outcome that I want, or whatever, or we can't work together. Those type of things. I don't like to shy away from all options. And it's not to sit there and put, people say you put certain things on the table, then it's like, oh, you put it in the ether, so it may happen or whatever. I think that when we know things are possible and we don't talk about the possibilities of things and look at every angle, or we sweep other things under the rug, or we hide specific things, or we pretend like things are not going to happen. Like one of my mentors stated, well, I know you guys mentored Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, they both said it, but it was talking about, the thinking positive part. There's nothing wrong with being positive in your thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the thing of being unrealistic, of things that you know for sure is going to happen, like deceiving yourself, I guess I should say. So they made a comment about the weeds in the garden. As I always say, that weeds don't need help to grow. So if we don't prune our garden, hence if we don't nurture our marriages, if we don't create a plan of action and then revisit that plan consistently with our spouse and with ourselves, then we are not tending our garden. And weeds don't need help to grow. But if we're constantly saying, oh, there's no weeds, then it's going to take over. It's going to take over our garden. And then now our relationships are choked to death. And we're wondering how we got here. And a lot of times we got in that position is because we did not tend our garden, and we didn't even create a plan of action of success for that to begin with. Hence the mission, hence the vision. What does that look like? What does your marriage vision look like? And did it change when it came to polygyny? And I would say that if it wasn't in your plans, or you and your husband did not discuss that, okay, eventually, he would be practicing polygyny, or or you were incoming wife, or a woman who married a married man, that you already knew that he practiced polygyny, be him marrying you meant that he was practicing polygyny, that you already kind of had an idea of what that would look like. But sometimes even those who are coming in do not have a clear vision of what the marriage is going to look like. Because a lot of times And I've heard it from a number of my clients, as well as people who've left comments on that. I was expecting it to be this way, but expecting something to be a way and planning for it or discussing it and having a clear vision is not the same thing. We can expect all day long, but if we do not put it out there that this is what it is, and then it doesn't kind of flow that way, or we get side swiped or blindsided to a point where it's like, okay, now what? Now what? I didn't expect it to be this way, but now I'm trapped, or now I'm stuck, or whatever. And we're never totally stuck or trapped. It's just our ideas or our visions or what our minds are telling us, because we have the opportunity to make the decisions. We can change the decision, or we could course correct. We can do whatever. It's up to us. No one is holding us hostage. Oh, okay. So let's see. Personal marriage mission. Bring up here. My personal marriage mission statement is to work with and on better relationship with my co. Alhamdulillah. Here's the thing too. When it comes to working on our co-wife relationships too, inshallah, God willing, that we have those great relationships, meaning that it doesn't have to be a total friendship, but if it is, alhamdulillah, that's a great thing. But being able to be cordial, being able to grow as a family, to build as a family, is definitely a good thing. And sometimes those things, it doesn't start off that way. But if you are emotionally mature, and then of course having that statement, and the interesting thing is, though, your marriage mission statement that main statement should consist of a statement where it's you and your husband. Because all in all, I mean, we'll have our other relationships that we do want to make sure that we are nurturing and things like that. But the marriage mission statement specifically should go to the person that you actually or not combine, should be combined with the person who you married. Because sometimes we get so hung up on our relationships outside of our marriage, and our marriage specifically is who we married to, ourselves and our husband. But sometimes we get so hung up on the outside the outside relationships. Even though the outside relationships tend to be within our family, it's still not our marriage. And if we don't work on that first, we are shifting our priorities. And a lot of times it's kind of looked at that's the priority first, making sure that others are happy or pleased, or our relationships are good with these people. And then the relationship with our husband is not being nurtured. And I think sometimes the relationships with our husbands are not being nurtured as much because we kind of have this unspoken idea that he's going to be there anyway. It's like, he married me, so he's going to be there. But we got to understand that just as much as we have our statement, and we have our wants and our needs and our desires and our things, he has his too. And that's the thing with nurturing and having that vision. That vision should be a marriage of working together. It should be where we are building together, and we care about each other's well-being, each other's happiness. It also goes into that saying where I've seen, and I've always had an issue with this. You guys put in the chat about this statement, and I wanted to do a different tea and chat about it, and I may do it. It's the happy wife, happy life statement. I've never been on that that statement. I always felt that wasn't a true statement. I had my different ideas or my reasons why I never felt that was true to begin with. But then later on, I shifted the reasoning, or why not only it being not true, that it's not healthy. That's not healthy. It comes to a point where if we put the happiness factor based on only one person, on one person in the relationship, one person in the marriage, then we negate the other person as a human being. We negate their feelings, their ideas, their desires, or anything, because it's like, you know what? As long as I'm supposed to be happy. So I don't care what you feel about it. I don't care what, if you're happy or not happy. Your existence right now is to make me happy. That's what I looked at as the happy wife, happy life statement. Whereas that it doesn't give us accountability. It doesn't allow us as wives to be accountable for our own happiness, our own growth, our own wellness. That we're looking at someone else to create this. And not only are we looking for them to create this, we get to the point where we're saying, you know what? Um, you you don't have a life. Your life is pleasing me, making me happy. But then it's like, well, what are you here for? So it's those type of things like that. So let me know, what do you guys think about that? And is that something that your viewpoint maybe have changed after a while, or never heard it before? The happy wife, happy life. Yeah, it's been really interesting. Oh, never heard of the marriage mission statement? Yes, I have some information on that I will be sharing in our polygamy boot camp. So super excited about that. We're really good friends. I love it. I love where we are in our relationship. Alhamdulillah. That is so good. Okay, give me a second, because what I want to do is I want to add, I want to send you guys a link to join the live stream if you want to join in. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to invite you. So just let me know if you want to be, or just, click the link. Give me a second. Oh, that's not right. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what happened with that. Okay, so that it should be there now. If you guys are not a part of our troll-free poly community, polygyny, supportive community, like I stated, troll-free, where we have a bunch of like-minded people, and we have, our lives. We do our lives, all that other wonderful stuff. If you're not a part of that, definitely make sure you're joining us at oprcommunity.com. Let me put you down. Let me show you. Okay, the ebook. I was telling you guys about the ebooks. If you haven't gotten an ebook, so there's the link right there on the screen. Okay, so let me get into this question. Loretta, did you ever ask yourself if you were the kind of person that can make poly life work? Sometimes when I have triggers, I'm so discouraged. I keep thinking, Loretta, you already did that work. The thing is about the work is a never-ending thing. It is yes, it's consistent. It's consistent work. So you want to definitely make sure don't get discouraged. Sometimes we will beat ourselves up. But if we're moving in a forward moving direction, and the good thing is being self-aware. When you're self-aware and you recognize it, keep it pushing. And when you find those triggers, when those triggers come back, it's being able to recognize them for what they are, And of course, we had a number of different tools with that. And I know you probably saw a number of them too. But the thing is, asking ourselves the questions, and are we making the things that are negative so much brighter and so much bigger, or are we, and if we are, then we have to change that. We have to course correct that. We have to say, you know what? This is not true, or this is not the way I want it to be. So let me make it small. Let me, make it darker. Let me make it, where I can diminish it. And let me replace it with something beautiful, bright, and make it bigger and brighter. And let that be the thing. Excuse me. Let that be the thing, the new trigger, because you can actually have positive triggers, like certain things when you're walking through a doorway, when you're touching something, when you rub your hands, whatever the case may be. You can create these positive things, even if you have something negative. That, because as I stated before, weeds don't need help to grow. They're going to grow. You're going to have, shaitan, Satan, or whatever in your ear, trying to get you to think this way and hear this thing and whatever the case may be. But we have to be intentional on what we want. Whenever we have some type of issue, challenge, or whatever, what do we have? What do we have in place to combat that? So yes, I think that every single day, it's not even just about making polygyny work. It's just being able to know that whatever challenge I have in my life, I know that I can overcome it. I know that I can do it. I have the tools. I have the confidence. I have all that. And that's the thing, being able to have that confidence. And I had to learn that. I had it, we have it when we're kids. Like, that's normal. Like, it's you've seen kids, learning to walk, or kids that say they know how to drive and haven't been behind a steering wheel a day. A lot of stuff. Kids are very confident. It's just after, life kind of hands us a number of things, that confidence kind of diminish. So yeah, when it comes down to that, we got to build that confidence back up. We got to go into those different things. And of course, that's one of our main things in our coaching, in our counseling, in our trainings that we do, especially in our, the polygamy boot camp that's coming up next week. Because being confident in your ability to have an amazing marriage, regardless of how polygyny started for you, regardless of what it looked like, and if it shook your relationship, or turned it on its head, or whatever the case may be. But being able to have that confidence to say, you know what, I have the confidence that we can figure this out, that we can move forward, that we can bond again, we can get better, whatever the challenges are, or whatever the challenges can be, or the insecurities, the jealousies. I feel confident that I can overcome this stuff. So as I stated before, I don't look at it just specifically as a polygyny thing. I think sometimes we look at polygyny as something negative, and it's just a form of marriage. I don't want to say just a form, like I'm dismissing it, but we kind of blow it up into something where, because it's so taboo, or is not talked about as much, or because people didn't have the right tools and how they were introduced to it, we tend to, it tends to get a negative stigma. But it's just a form of marriage. So, and it's an option, whether if a person practices monogamy or polygyny. But even with monogamy, there's challenges. So polygyny is not the only form of marriage that comes with challenges. So when we're able to go through and grow through these things, and with confidence, and saying that, okay, I may feel this way, but I'm confident that I'm going to figure this out, or I'm confident that I can trust my husband to be there, and we're going to work through this together. I'm confident that I'm going to mind my marriage and work on building, on the building blocks for my marriage. I'm confident that we're going to have an amazing marriage mission statement. I'm going to be able to focus on, what I stated in the mission statement that I had individually. And I'm also going to be able to focus on bonding and building on the marriage mission statement that my husband and I created together, without any outside influence. or unwanted outside influence, because we can have outside influence like, OPR can be an outside influence when it comes to helping you navigate through any type of choppy or troubled or murky waters that can come with the uncertainty of what polygyny can bring. So, of course, excited about those different things, but yeah, it's being able to be confident, happy. Let me go through because I let me hold on, let me go through, because I was skipping through some stuff because I went all the way to the bottom of the comments. So let me go back. Everyone should be on the same page. Go to wait. See, I be doing this, and I'd be like, wait, I want to read all the comments, and I'm going to read them all, but I don't want to skip anybody. So give me a second. Okay. So true, Aisha. Things will get totally out of control if things were not discussed between both parties. It can. Here's the interesting thing, too. Things can get out of hand if we allow them to get out of hand, because we may not know. You can have we can definitely see when it comes to what was I about to say? Oh, when it comes to things, like I said, if things getting out of hand, or if we're not speaking about those things, we may not even know. Sometimes we may not even know what polygyny is. We may not know we may not know what it entails. We may not have known anybody that practiced polygyny, those different things. But then when we start to hear about it, you have certain people that you start to hear about it a little bit more. It's like, okay, well, this makes sense. Or, I think the husband can say, you know what? Yeah, I think I am man enough to be able to practice that. I can be just, I can learn these different things. And it could be later on. So he wouldn't be able to discuss something he didn't know about or he didn't think about it to begin with. So being able to say, you know what, being able to give your partner, being able to give your spouse grace, and being able to say, you know what, we're going to grow together. And also not only just giving them grace, but giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because I'm like, did you marry a person that was shady? Did you marry a person that was, um, not truthful or untrustworthy or anything like that? I'm pretty sure you didn't. So why would that change now? It could just be a number of different things that, you guys have to work on together. We talk about having a difficult and a challenging conversation, and we'll be getting to that too in the boot camp. But being able to have that, and maybe sometimes that challenging conversation can be, how did we get to this point where we weren't able to discuss these things with one another? And then be able to learn how to move forward from that part, not the polygyny, so to speak, but I didn't understand this and I didn't know this, but where did we go? Where did we go wrong, or where did things get crazy where we weren't able to communicate with each other so we can bond and connect with one another? So that type of thing. But yeah, definitely, everyone should be on the same page and moving in the same direction for best practices. Definitely. Um, Let's see. Going through. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, I'm gonna get to that. Where we at? How could we? All right, real quick. I want just to discuss this. So regarding infections, how could we manage our relationship with our husband for avoiding it? Because I heard from other sisters in poly that is common. Um, It's one of the things that's currently afraid of me. And is there a special thing to do to protect ourselves from that? What's really interesting? When people, it's actually, I've heard it is actually more common in monogamy than in polygyny, and especially because polygyny is not as widely practiced as monogamy. But people will do a lot of fear mongering when it comes to that, and it becomes very disrespectful when people think that when it comes to forms of marriage, this is not cheating. This is not a person stepping out. This is not a person having these multiple partners all over the place and everything like that. This is these are responsible people. You should be anyway, but commonly is people that say, you know what, I'm marrying a person. This is a person that is my wife, and this is my wife. If this usually in monogamy, that's way more common. And I've heard it from a number of people, not only from people who it's not a theory, people who have been involved in stuff like that, where it looks is dangerous because this person is stepping out here and they're being with this person, that person, and they have no, what's the word? They have no responsibility for it. That's kind of this is my main chick, my wife is my main chick, and these are my side chicks. This is this person, that person. I don't have to care about what comes from here, what goes there, anything like that. But see, when you're in polygyny, when you're in in an ethical form of marriage, you have to be careful, and and you are very responsible about who you are being with, because you are now, your responsibility is taking care of these people. You're not playing around, sleeping around, doing those things like that. So it becomes really disrespectful because people have this, because I guess they don't understand the whole thing, the realness of polygyny and what it entails, and the responsibility that being married to multiple women entails. Like, women don't understand that. And I'm putting this out there to women because we hear it a lot from women. Women try to degrade or disrespect or demean the husbands for marrying again, like he's going out sleeping with the world, instead of seeing him as a respectable person for wanting to take care. And I know, and this, women don't understand this part either. And the thing is, yes, I'm a woman, but I say it a number of different times. I don't sit there and say, oh, I'm better than this person or that person, but I do understand a number of things, and I work to understand a number of things from all different angles, because that's what's important for bonding and for understanding. It's one thing to demean somebody, or to fearmonger, or to say things that is degrading because you don't understand it, and because you want to scare people, because you're afraid. And so when you're afraid, you start to project on other people. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm saying that if women are saying that stuff to you, then a lot of times that can be what that is as well. And you can see it a whole lot more. So the thing is that how you protect yourself, this is what I say, and I state minding your marriage a lot. That's going to always be an ongoing thing about minding your marriage. We've gotten so many questions because that's that whole fear mongering, and it's easy to be really dismissive and say that because a person is married to another person, which they know in marriage this person will be having sex with this other person, that they decide that they want to, make it dirty. But the thing is that how you protect yourself, like how you would protect yourself in any way, shape, or form, whether if he was married to somebody else or not, is that you and your husband will continue to get yourselves tested. That's how you will know, and that's how you will protect yourself. Same thing that the other wife would do. She want to make sure that these type of things, she would do the same thing. She will stay clean. She will mind her marriage. She will work with that. But my thing is, if he's married to the two of you and you guys are doing what you need to do, you focus on your marriage, you mind your marriage. It's a whole lot different when you have a person that's out there running around, quote unquote, spreading the seed or whatever, and not being a responsible man who is marrying and taking care of two or more women. Totally different scenario. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch more time on that, but that's pretty much, hope that answered your question. That's kind of that part. So let me get back to my my other questions here. So, and one thing that I did fail to mention too, it's not just the men out there. You have women that sleep around, cheat, everything like that. It's so much. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It just made me think of this show that I saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this can be it, And I've heard situations where this happened, where the person thought their wife was so good, was so, everything was all good with them, and then they contracted a disease from her because she was sleeping around. She was sleeping around, and it's like, oh well, I was feeling this way and all this other stuff. Whatever excuse, whatever excuse you want, it can happen either way. But the thing is, if you're not being responsible, and I would beg to differ that a man, who decides to take responsibility and marry multiple women is not responsible. I wouldn't see that. Now, like I said, there's some predators and some crazies and stuff out there, but all in all, for the most part, those who are practicing and those who are real, are true men and leaders, those are the ones that are responsible. And you won't see that. And that's the thing. If that's the type of husband or man that you married, then that's the thing that you have to question within yourself as well. Like, did I marry somebody that way? And then I still have to be responsible in my decisions as well. Where we at? Want to go slow? Our family vision is a good example of the. Ooh. Okay. Oh, where am I? Here we go. Our family vision is to be a good example for the African American community. Alhamdulillah. See, I told you I do not. We find there are not very good examples here. Oh, I'm sorry. Subhanallah. Okay, let me I'm moving through this. Things get totally out of control. Things discussed between both parties. Yep, did that. Okay, Loretta. Alhamdulillah. Married at almost 18 years old. 7 kids by the time I turned 29 years old. I was raised by my family culture to be a professional wife and mother for the time, for time and all eternity, not prepared for poly. Yeah, sometimes we're not prepared for that. And then what that's interesting. I would like to hear a little bit more on that, Loretta. What does that mean? Professional wife. That's that's actually a new term for me, professional wife. But being, and if I would kind of maybe think that this is what this means, a person who does the things that wives do, meaning being there for the husband, being the caregiver, the nurturer, the supporter, that type of thing. It's so much. It's a lot, and it's honor in it. Like, it's a lot of different roles, but there's an honor in being a wife and a mother that a lot of people don't, or a number of people. I can say a lot of people. A number of people don't see. It's a lady that I watch, and she was talking about the privileges of being a wife and the privileges and responsibilities of being a wife. And sometimes we do let the 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 roles, or what society, or the newness of what society is putting out there, kind of get to us about the honor in actually being a wife and what that entails. I like this, Aisha. Husband need attention too. They get lonely at times, but they don't show it all the time. There's a lot of things that we have to understand that our husbands don't show the way we do. But the interesting thing is they actually do show it. We just got to be willing to look. We have to be willing to look. We have to understand that our husbands do things differently than we do, but that doesn't mean that they don't feel like we do, meaning that they have feelings as well, that they have different fears, needing to be comforted and everything like that. We're supposed to be their comforter. If they can't come to us for comfort, who can they come to? And I'm not saying that as a single, because I'm not saying it, I don't want anybody to get it misconstrued and get it twisted, because sometimes we'll get this thing where like, well, if I don't do it for him, then there's somebody else that's going to do it for him. Or if, that type of thing where it's this fear, this scarcity mentality or type of thing like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as wives, period. Even if he's married to multiple wives, we as wives are comforters. We are supporters. We are the ones that are there for them so they can do the manly stuff that is required of them to do. Do you think that they can do all that stuff and then just keep running and running and running and running on fumes without any deposits and in their emotional account? The thing is, and I have to talk about that. I really have to talk about that because it's not talked about enough, and it's not talked about it enough by women. And as I stated before, even that whole happy wife, happy life thing, it created the mentality in a lot of women. And with this one, I will say a lot of women, that's who feelings matter most. Not that their feelings matter and their husband's feelings matter as well. It's that my feelings matter most. If I'm feeling a certain way, this is what, it's me first. I actually had a thing, and people can say whatever they can say. I give not only best practices for best results, I also give what I know have worked for me as well as work for other people. And it may to other people may not sound like it's best practices because it takes work and it takes not sacrifice. It takes being, I'm not going to call it sacrifice. It takes compromise. And sometimes people don't want to compromise. I have a thing, and I'm going to let you in on a little something. Take it or leave it, but I'm going to let you in on a little something. I have a thing that my husband and I, we cannot be mad or going through something kind of stressful at the same time, like in the same moment. Like that's a thing for me. Even if I had a rough day, stressful week, whatever the case may be, and he had a rough day, stressful week, and things like that, I try, not that I'm 100% on the mark all the time, but my mental about it is that I'm going to be there for him. And I'm going to try to listen to him and hear him out, or I'm going to be mindful. That's why I said that they will show, but we have to be willing to see what it looks like. If we know our husbands and we watching them or we're paying attention to them, we know what their patterns are. We know when things are bothering them. We know when things are kind of stressful. As much as they may think that they're hiding it or keeping it in or whatever the case may be, it's either we're not looking for it or we're not being aware of it or we just don't care. And that's not okay. How do you expect to bond and create a closeness? And how do you expect your husband to be the same way with you if you're not doing that and you're not being that way with him? So that type of thing, being able to see it, because I know that I can have a rough day or a character building moment or whatever you want to call it. And because in my mind, or because, what I put out there, I said, you know what, I can put this aside. It was rough. It was this or whatever, but I can push this aside, or I can write it down. I can put, like, as I stated, men do things different. I feel like that we as women have way more resources out there for us than they have for them. So because we have a lot of those resources, then we should be that comfort and that resource and those things for them, and not the whole, oh, well, I'll do it for him when he does it for me, or I'll when he does for me. It's like, I have these resources. I have these things. I can journal. How many men actually sit there and journal their thoughts and their feelings down? I mean, some probably do it, but they don't do it consistently. They're like, I'm angry right now. Let me write. I know I'm being a little crazy here, but we do, or let me sew, or let me paint, or let me this. We have outlets. Sometimes their outlet is probably to just be alone for a second and just be in their thoughts. But sometimes their outlet could be where even if they just don't really want to talk about it, but they just want you there, or they want a back rub or something, but being there. We have to be mindful of that if we want this vision, this marriage vision, to be outstanding. Because our marriage is not just us. We ain't married to ourselves. Yeah, I stated before, we want to make sure we have a personal marriage statement, because we want to know what we can do during times of challenge, or when we are, when we are not with our husbands. And that's not only when he's with his co-wife. That's when he's with his other wife, is when he's doing whatever he needs to do in his life, because he's an individual and he's a man. He still has his own other stuff to do. So what are we going to do? Drag on his pants leg? Or are we going to figure out, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for me, and I'm going to work on me enough so when he needs me, or when, we need to bond, or we have these different things, or even through challenges, we can successfully navigate through these things. That's what it would look like. Let's see. All right. Positive. I have no problem finding the blessing. Loretta, yes, indeed. Positive and polygamy. I have no problem finding the blessing in life. Okay, where we at? I don't know why my laptop don't want to work with me. So you're right. People are always thinking negative. Oh, sorry, Aisha. You're right. People are always thinking negative about polygamy. It can work, inshallah. Yes, anything can work if we're willing to do the work, right? So yeah, I agree. If this works right, I agree, Jamila. Maturity is really key. Maturity is a big deal. And the thing about that, we don't just jump out with maturity. I mean, we just don't. And even when it comes to we can say, oh, well, this person is this age, they should be this age, they should act this age, they should know better. Sometimes we just didn't learn better, and we have to learn better. That's no excuse, because one thing is that if we are even mature enough to say, this ain't right, or I need to learn, or I don't know this, so let me learn this. That's important too. That's a sign of maturity as well. Being able to admit that you don't know every doggone thing, and that, you know what, I'm willing to learn this. Because that's the downfall, is placing blame. I did a video on that before too, about the, placing blame and assumptions, because that can kill your marriage quick. It can kill it quick, or it can definitely put it on life support. So, definitely want to, be careful and be mindful of that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's it. Loretta says, why would we know? Polygamy in my life has no point of references. I'm married at a young age, for a time and all eternity. One man, one woman, eternal partner. Me jealous, just dividing. Well, a lot of that comes from what we were taught. I really do believe a lot of that comes from what we were taught. But we have to see if, we have to look into ourselves and say, are we willing to keep that frame of mind? Is that serving us any way, shape, or form? Or can we grow from that? And of course, jealousies would be there. Like I said it in a number of different videos, that, we can be jealous of anything. We can be jealous. I'm jealous of my sister for certain things. I remember when I was younger, my sister got to go on a trip out of the country, and she was younger than me, and I didn't get to go out a trip out of the country, because I guess the different places that they were, and my mom was afraid of the place that I was going to go to, even though it was more responsible than my sister at the time, and I was going with a group, of people. It's just different things. We being jealous is one thing, is being able to manage manage how we respond and react to those different things, and not allowing those the jealousies to spawn envy. It's it's about it, definitely, once again, about being mature. Oh, thank you for the advice. Thanks, Doc. I really love you. Welcome. Peace and love to the live wife, to class, learn how to communicate. Okay. Where are we at? Double standard. Sound like I'm Benjamin. I ain't seeing you on our YouTube channel. There's a double standard when society speaks bad about polygyny. They say, I don't mind him cheating as long as I'm the only one. Yes, that part is so crazy. I got something coming up for that, but I just got to give you a little teaser on it. The do I really love my husband if I'm literally telling him to go to hell? Because it's pretty much what you're telling him. If you say, you know what, I'd rather you cheat. I'd rather you be, I'd rather you not be upstanding. I'd rather you not be, I'd rather you do the things that are going to be strikes against you and cause you just damnation. Hey, do that. I'd rather you do that for my own heart, for my own good feelings, my own. Come on, people. Is that really, is it really love? If it isn't love, my brain went into a New Edition song. Don't, sorry, that type of thing. But yeah, it's a mess. And then you have another piece that says, but once the same person finds out the husband is cheating, they blow out like a balloon. Oh yeah, but the thing is, here's the thing: it's so much easier to be victim when the person is doing something wrong, and polygyny is not wrong. So polygyny is not wrong. But if the person is cheating, it's easy to be victim. It's easy to say, well, this person wronged me. This person did that. But you, in the same sense, said, hey, I wouldn't mind if you cheat. I'd rather you do that. Because, of course, like you said, it's that double standard, but it's not even just a double standard. It's just that I would rather play victim. I would rather be victim than to say, you know what, just to be able to have to explain something that I don't understand about my husband marrying again. So I don't want to look like the person that he didn't care about, because in my mind, or what society said, that if he marries someone else, then something must be wrong with you. But cheating is different, because it's like, oh, well, he didn't commit to her, so he don't love her anyway, or he doesn't da. So I can feed myself so many different, so many different stories, lies, whatever you want to call it. And let's see if I can get the quote right, that Coach Nazir says, that people will rather believe an ugly lie. No, a beautiful lie. They'll rather believe a beautiful lie, than face the ugly truth. So, and I know I totally probably butchered it, but I'm paraphrasing. But that's the thing. Give me the beautiful lie. No. And there's so many songs that there's is so many, so many songs about that too, about lie to me, and people talked about that. And I think because of those things are out in the ether, or that's out there and people hear it so much, it's like, yeah, let's do that. That makes sense to me, because this is well known. It's okay to do that. It's okay to just lie to me. It's okay to do these things that are not moral. I'm okay with that. I'd rather you do that than do something do something immoral. I'd rather you do those things than do something that's going to help you grow, or make you grow, or be a better man. And we've had videos on that too. I'm not going to get way into that on there, about how polygyny makes us all better in the long run, or if we really look at it, whether it's wives understanding their husbands more, bonding a lot more, because now they're understanding certain things that they didn't understand before, that wives are working on themselves more, because they decided before to just be so caught up into their husbands' lives, those different things, as well as husbands having to deal with different emotions and knowing how to balance those out and be more than twice the man and all those different things like that. So yeah, so I'd rather you just be a dirty, rotten, immoral dude than to be somebody that's upstanding. That makes no sense to me. But to each his own on that one. But we want to be be realistic. Oh my gosh, these things. Okay, it's because we want men to understand us. We want to. That's true, Benjamin. You said is because we want men to understand us, but we don't want to understand them. Yeah, it's definitely a double standards, but it's in order to have that connection and that bond, we have to understand. We have to seek to understand before we are looking to be understood. We have to understand. It's not just about us. Aisha says, be there for each other through thick and thin, the good, bad, and the ugly. Alhamdulillah. So I was always jealous, but since I'm in polygyny, it's changed so much. Isn't that the part where I just stated before, like how we may not even understand how something that we would not have thought that will happen to us, that will that will allow us to be better people, just because we decided to grow, just because we made the choice to grow and be understanding. That's true, Loretta. To move on from these beliefs, yes. Um, Jealousy can be found in all places. True. That's what we were just speaking about. Walaikum assalam to you better cat too. That's right. That's not. Said, and I would rather have a good husband I share with three other sisters than a husband for myself that's not good at all. That's the thing too. We have so many people say, well, yeah, he's crap, but at least he's my crap. I mean, they don't say that, coming out of their mouths, but those exact words, I should say. But when you say, well, why he's not fit for polygyny anyway, because he doesn't do this and he's not blah, 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 and this and that, the other, but you're with him and you're married to him and that's okay. It's like, well, why would somebody else want him and why he want to be somebody he's not good to me. So it's like, okay, I'm okay with being with a piece of crap, as long as he's just my piece of crap. It's it's a really interesting thing. But yeah, that's the thing of when you have a leader. I was watching a show, a series, and I know people are familiar with it because it's like in a Guinness book or whatever, a show called Ertugrul. And I'm still in the first, don't judge me for those who have watched it. I'm still in the first season, but I was looking at the different women and that was like, on Ertugrul, the main character and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? He could like marry all of them and everything would be okay. So that's how I'm thinking in my mind, because the way he presents himself, he's this protector, this provider, and you see the care and these different things, and it's like he can marry all of them. So that's kind of what it reminded me of when you said that I rather have a good husband I share with three other sisters, because my thing is, if he's that protector, provider, that maintainer, and it's not just a provider as far as monetary gains, or monetary means, but that provider in knowledge, that provider in care, that provider in those different things, it's like he's a good man. And if this is a person that you wanted, that that he's good, do you really think that other people are not going to want him? And if he's in that type of status, in that category, that he can care for others, then, and he could be that good man to others, then it's like it's really interesting. It's like technically we really don't have that say of who it's like you are being his warden. You're like, you know what, you do what I tell you to do, and you can't do these different things unless I say it's okay for you to do those things. And I did a video, and I'm not sure if it'll probably be released soon, about a woman being able to, a Muslim woman being her right to marry a married man, a married Muslim man, and what those things look like. There's no restriction on her to marry a married Muslim man. And I always play, unless he has four. That's the thing. And I said, if I call it married but available. So, and if you are a good man that do those different things, and you are responsible, and you can be responsible, you do those things, then why stop that? I said that we as wives take rights away from other people. We don't lose our rights when our husband marry again. We are still wives, and he's still responsible, and he's still responsible for what he needs to be responsible for with us, just like we are responsible for the things we need to be responsible for with him. So when it all comes down to it, it's like we don't lose those rights when he marries again. But if we tell him that he cannot, then we are taking away his right to marry again, and we're taking away that other woman's right to marry a good man that's available for her to marry. I'm just letting it be known. I mean, people, that's an unpopular opinion that people don't, well, it's actually not even an opinion, that's fact. I said, no matter how we want to feel about it, facts gonna be facts, and I had to learn that, real quickly on a number of things in life. Regardless of how I feel about something, if it's the truth, it's the truth. And no matter what I feel about it, it's not going to change it from being the truth. Okay, Loretta, when I talk about maturity, it says saying this all about maturity does not help. I am mature. I'm managing all women walking this way of poly and feeling angry, resentment, scared, fearful. They're all immature, no emotional quotient. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is how we deal with stuff. It's not about feelings. Our feelings are going to be our feelings. It's how we deal with those feelings that can show if we're mature or immature. So yes, you can have resentment, you can have anger, you can have a number of different things. But this is just, I'm stating when it comes down to how we respond and react to those different things. I mean, as a incoming wife, second wife, a woman who married a married man, whatever you want to call it, I've had my share of resentment, insecurities, jealousies, a lot of different things like that, which people don't think that we have as incoming wives. It's the way we handle things. You seem to handle things pretty well where it's not coming off as tantrums or anything like that. So I'm not stating that. I just wanted to be clear because I want everybody to understand when I'm stating certain things, I'm not trying to diss people or anything like that, but I do want to hold us all. I want us to be held accountable. And I want us to know that we're in a safe space, that if I didn't love you guys, meaning loving you for the sake of Allah, or loving you for being my sisters and things like that, these are not easy conversations to have. They're not easy. It's not easy this is courageous communication. This is a part of courageous communication, to be able to say the things that other people are not saying, to be able to say things that may hurt a little bit, or hurt at the beginning. I heard a little bit hurt at the beginning, but once we start to think about it and listen to it or grow through it, we understand that if the person didn't tell us, or we never knew, or whatever the case may be, then we're still going to go through this over and over and over again and not know how to deal with these things. So not the feelings, having the feelings has nothing to do with being mature, immature. It's the response and reactions to them. Okay, alhamdulillah for me. Alhamdulillah. I'm just going through because we've been on here for an hour. So let me, okay, yeah, that's it. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Yes, we do take away people's rights away So if you guys want to talk live, definitely click the button. So I mean, I'm seeing the different comments in the chat. But if you want to talk live, definitely hit the button. We'll be here for a little bit more. People are taking away. What I also, as I stated before, we're going to be doing the polygamy boot camp, and the training is going to be based on the information that we have put inside the polygamy roadmap ebook. If you guys have not gotten it yet, definitely grab your copy at polygamyroadmap.com. And yes, Aisha, people are trying to take away what Allah has made permissible. Yeah, it's so true. And the thing is, excuse me, the thing is, sometimes people don't even know. Like, sometimes you don't know. And I'm the type of person that I like to give people the benefit of the doubt and say, we want to be able to provide this information so people do know. Because once you know, you have one or two choices. You can pretend like you didn't see it, or you can say, you know what, I'm pretend like it doesn't affect me or it doesn't bother me. That's the whole thing what I talked about with the weeds in the garden. Or you can say, you know what, okay, now do I change my viewpoint? Now do I try to see what does that look like for me, or how would that affect me? Or can I learn it in a way that I can help others? It may not even be for me. Sometimes, we do get so caught up in our own story that we forget that, there's a whole other, is a whole big world out there. And I am thankful. I've been through a number of things, and I'm thankful for the things that I've went through and I've gone through in my life because of being able to help other people, being able to utilize my stories, my journeys, in that way, shape, or form to be able to be the coach that I am, and the things that I've learned and continue to learn along the way. So, a lot of times when we do kind of step out of our own, our own neighborhood, so to speak, we start to see, the bigger picture. Just a thought. So, okay. Would you advise, my battery. Hold on. Let me do. Where are we? Brand.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I am Coach Nazir.
And I'm Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I am Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
Hey, we are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. With that being said, we want to just ask you a few questions because we're excited to announce our special private community. Mm-hmm. So have you ever really wanted somewhere where you can discuss issues, challenges, especially that are polygyny related, that you didn't want on social media?
And that's troll free.
Right. And we as wives especially wanted a space like that, but there was nothing out there.
So we decided to create it. And we're so excited to invite you to it because we have so many things out there where we are there to answer your questions. You have like-minded people in the community as well that are there to share their stories, help you with yours, and all that other great stuff too.
Indeed, indeed. We have people from all over the world, from many different faith backgrounds, from many different experiences, some looking to practice polygyny. Others are already involved in looking on ways on how to navigate. That's one of the reasons that we do several live casts for our community every single week. I'm there usually on Mindset Mondays.
And I'm there Thursdays for Quintessential Queens.
And I do poly tea and chat for the queens on Saturday.
And of course, we have different courses. We have a number of different areas and exercises that we do. The basic part of the whole entire community is free. So again, you have nothing to lose. Definitely join, let us know who you are, where you at. And then of course we have premium areas where for those who are serious and a little more than curious about their growth and everything, especially finding fulfillment in their most important relationships, can definitely join the Kings and Queens area as well. So with that being said, Make sure you go to oprcommunity.com. Go ahead, join. We look forward to seeing you inside the community where you can focus on GLC.
Making sure that you are growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly.
And connecting on a higher level.
Every single day.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Trying to see. All right. Assalamu alaikum. All right, we're gonna wrap it up in a second. Just had to change my battery. So, but I want to do these last few questions, and then I thank you guys for staying on. I don't usually plan to be on over an hour, and great comments and engagement and things like that. So I truly appreciate you guys sticking and staying. Alhamdulillah. Praise to Allah. So let me answer this. Would you advise that a co-wife should avoid giving her stepchildren gifts if her co-wife on good terms yet? Should this be a reason to stop the generosity with innocent kids? Oh, that's a great question. Here's the thing where your husband really comes into play, because it's not about, those are his children too. They're his children. So sometimes we get so caught up with the co-wife and the mother and the things like that, but these are his children too. And that's the whole thing, even about building a relationship. And I would tell you one thing, and Coach Fatimah and I, we discussed this before, and we've done a number of videos on it as well. I stated one of my major regrets that I've had in polygyny was not connecting with my bonus children sooner than I did, because I wanted a relationship with them before I actually kind of had a relationship with them. And that's one of my regrets, because of that. We just weren't on the terms yet, even though, we have to be careful. Like I said, we have to be careful, because we start to take away the rights of the husband and the rights of the father, because we're so caught up in our own stuff. Because if that conversation was more geared towards the person who I knew I could talk to at the time, which was our husband, of that, this is what I wanted to look like, this is, he would have been able to navigate, that properly still, because they're still his children. So that's the thing that I would say, definitely, discuss that thing, because that's where, it can be the tricky waters, because when it does come down to it, we got to understand what it is. Moms tend to be superstars and stuff like that when it comes to kids, especially when they're younger. And it's not until they get older when the kids really start to see, if there was division and where it came from and all those different things like that. So, you just want to be able to, to talk to your husband about your goals and what you want to do and these different things like that, and see what he suggests, inshallah. Because once again, like I stated, even though they're your bonus children, they are his children. So hope that helped, inshallah. I'm the same culture. Okay, we're gonna, when we know we are accountable. So true, Loretta. I want to know from the bottom of my daughters that you were there for me. I felt your concern and love. Yes, I'm still here. Still here, alhamdulillah. Okay, this last question, and we are going to wrap it up. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for sticking and staying, and the great interaction and comments. If the co-wife doesn't have the same culture and doesn't speak the same language, do you advise to take distance from her for avoiding misunderstanding, etc.? Seek to understand and be understood. That's going to be the answer for that. I won't advise because you don't understand. There are going to be some miscommunication. I can speak the same language or think I'm speaking the same language to certain people, and I'm still misunderstood. So, and I know you guys can agree with me on that. So the thing is that, be sincere, try to learn how to, communicate through the barriers and different things like that. If you want to communicate, you don't force it, don't push it, those type of things like that. But if it's something that you genuinely want to do, learn that. And use Google Translate. Google Translate is amazing. Sometimes they act a little finicky and funny, but Google Translate is an amazing thing. So, but definitely, as I stated before, seek first to understand, then be understood. Seek first to understand and then be understood. And definitely, like I said, Google Translate is a great tool. I've communicated with a number of people from a number of different languages using that, and it's been pretty good. And they've been communicating with, and they communicate with me in the same, in the same sense. So, and if you really want to connect, you would definitely find a way. We've done it. We've done it in so many different ways. And sometimes and I know this is going to be crazy because don't put babies in this or whatever. Sometimes, our babies, we don't understand our babies and our babies don't understand us, but we keep trying, right? So that's that part. Truly appreciate you guys. Again, as I stated before, make sure you grab that polygamy roadmap ebook at polygamyroadmap.com. Make sure you register for the poly boot camp or the polygamy boot camp at polygamybootcamp.com, and we would love to see you there. So yeah, that's going to be about it for tonight. Thank you so much. Again, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. It's been a long day, guys, for me, and I'm still excited about everything that we have in store for you guys. So yes, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. And I'm going to put this last bit up for Bent Jamil. Thank you so much. Like and share, guys, because it could help someone in their seeking to grow. Share, because sharing is caring. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.